Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to the fifth installment of the GTR24H podcast. I'm Yusuf Bin Sahel, joined by Peter Moncombe, John Terrell, and Alex Goldschmidt. Hello to all of you gentlemen, and let's just jump right on in because we've spent the last 4 weeks talking about the Nürburgring. We'll keep on doing that. The 24 hours is coming up this weekend, and we have the spotter guide for all the teams already out.
Yeah, I'll share the link as well. It's not completely done. There's parts of it that needs to be updated, but I'll put the link in both the Facebook chat and the YouTube chat.
So to any of our viewers who do want to take a look at
to update.
For any of our viewers who do want to take a look at how the cars do look and the teams that are entering, make sure to have a look at that when it does eventually come through in the YouTube and the Facebook chat.
Please excuse the slide with the Sebring track information. That's obviously not correct. That will be exchanged for some historic information on the Nürburgring track instead.
And as well, a reminder to all of our viewers, just like last week, if you do want to get involved and want to ask questions to any of my four guests, to make sure to do so in the Facebook chat. That is the chat that we are looking at. So if you do want to get any messages in, please do send it through Facebook on the GTR24H page on that live stream. Alex, I'm going to throw to you because you've got quite a few interesting stats and interesting factoids that you'd like to give regarding the Nordschleife circuit.
I mean, well, one of the biggest things, obviously, 20.8 kilometers of what Sir Jackie Stewart has dubbed the Green Hell. It's seen a lot of action over the years. But also, one of the other interesting tidbits about this circuit is the fact that it's actually a test and development center for a lot of the major manufacturers. So Hyundai, Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Lexus, a whole host of global automotive brands go and pound the circuit in order for, developing their cars on a regular basis. And that's the cars that we see on the road. So like, say, the brand new M3 and M4 competition with the kidney grills on those cars, actually providing a lot of automotive journalism controversy, let's say, but very much a case that it form follows function, so to speak. The Tourist Fahrten, very, very well known, where people do actually get to go round it. And there are quite a few, probably thousands at the very least, of compilations of how not to get around the Nordschleife.
YouTube corner.
Yes, indeed. But I think one of the biggest things is that is the most significantly recognised. It's well revered. It's well respected. And everyone worth their salts wants to tame the Green Hell, but it's not going to be an easy track to do that on. And as you can actually see, that's how many corners there are. So like the iconic Flugplatz, where literally you can go four wheels up into the air, and that is more than likely going to happen this coming weekend. The Dottinger Höhe, which whenever I hear other commentators pronounce it, it always seems to be that the umlauts unfortunately get forgotten. But it's one of those bits where you're going to see these cars push over 280 kilometers an hour. Fuchsrohr, Metzgersfeld, quite a lot of corners in there, but you can just see, and it even uses part of the current Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit as well. So the drivers are going to be eyeballs on stalks for the whole 24 hours, Yusuf.
Eyeballs on stalks. I still got to go and learn a whole bunch of the corner names, and I might be one of those unfortunate commentators who mispronounces a fair bunch of corner names. One thing that I do want to ask is, because you actually brought this up when we had our EWC race in Sebring, and you were talking about the layout of the circuit and the fact that the track, the asphalt, hasn't been changed since it was first made. What about the Nordschleife? How often have we seen, the tarmac being changed around, or is it still pretty much the same over the last 60 years?
It's been pretty consistent in terms of the tarmac not having changed that much. I mean, you still have the rumble strips going through into the carousel, where literally you were on a bank corner. That's about 25 to 28 degrees, sort of like angle going in, and you've got to attack it. You can't.
It hasn't been changed.
Yeah, the banking's never been changed. Flugplatz has never changed. Dottinger Ho has hardly been changed.
Flugplatz has been changed because that changed that they took the top off the top after the Nissan unfortunately
Yeah,
went
I,
off
I
and made
remember
it
that.
this way.
Yeah, I remember the driver as well. That was Jan Mardenborough in the Nissan GTR that went
The guy that
airborne.
was too fast for British GT3.
Yeah. So Jan Mardenborough has a record feat of actually making sure that Flugplatz got changed at the Nordschleife.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for reminding me there, Peter. But yeah, a lot of this track hasn't really changed that much, but it's still a pretty stern test. I think one of the other things you've got consistent momentum changes when it comes to how the tyres are going to be tortured in this race. It's not going to be easy. The microclimate that surrounds a handful of circuits, which includes Spa-Francorchamps and, of course, the Nordschleife, the weather could play a factor in. And if anyone might remember a few years ago when the ADAC Nürburgring Nordschleife 24 hours was stopped due to a sudden deluge of hailstones hitting the circuit.
Yes.
So
I remember.
I remember because one of my friends sent me a message about it and he said, take a look at this, and we're standing in it right now. And I went, you're serious? He went, look on the live stream. I looked on the live stream. I could not believe my eyes. And that was one of the most significant red flag stoppages, I think, on the Nürburgring Nordschleife 24 hours in its recent history.
And it was right after Swedenkreuz, which is, I think, it doesn't look that dangerous when you see it or in real life or when you drive it in a simulator. But in real life, that is one of the most dangerous corners in racing, period. Because it's a blind corner. You can't see the exit. You can't see how fast it is. It's cresting. When you go into the corner, the crest starts. So the car is always unloaded coming over the top of the crest when you're doing the corner. It is like if you start sliding there, it's just done. There's no way of saving it.
Yeah.
I could also add that we actually managed to break 50,000 signatures of naming a corner after Sabine Smith.
Corner naming thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It just broke 50,000 a couple of days ago. So it's actually great news. And one more thing as well is actually the weather forecast for the Nürburgring is quite entertaining to watch.
How many weather changes are we getting?
Quite a few, probably, it sounds like.
Yeah. And I would call it unstable weather. It is ever changing going towards the weekend. But one thing is guaranteed now is we're going to have rain.
Okay.
And showers.
Well, if the weather is as unstable as my internet, is sure to be an absolute banger of a race.
All right.
I just like how you put your head in your hand as soon as John said unstable weather there, Yusuf. I like instantly, like the kid inside me was like grinning like the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, saying, "Yep, we're going to have a proper belter this weekend."
See, I personally don't mind rain, but as an ex-driver myself, I've just always rather disliked the rain, mainly because I've never been good at it. So, but as a spectator, rain definitely brings some entertaining racing to the front, especially with all of the strategy changes we could be seeing. And, you know, one of the things you were mentioning, you've got those rather, what's the word for it? Unique weather conditions, you know, those microclimates. And with the Nürburgring, with how long the track is, we talk about at circuits like Spa, where you can have rain on one part of the circuit, dry on another part of the circuit. Well, at the Nordschleife, you can have a lot of rain on one part of the circuit and it could be bone dry on the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex talked about the one with the hailstorm on one part and 20 degrees and sunshine on the other.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is that what we're looking at here is a completely different set of circumstances, because the Nordschleife is nearly 3 times longer than Spa-Francorchamps. Spa-Francorchamps, 7.004 kilometers, and then you got 20.8 at the Nordschleife. It's a hell of a difference, especially when, again, that wet in one part, it could be wet at the carousel and going through maybe, say, Flugplatz, it could be absolutely bone dry. You just don't know. And as when John said unstable weather, I thought that's exactly what to call it, because you cannot predict it. I mean, what we're seeing now, might not be what happens on race day. Weather climates do change. Wind picks up or pushes it into another direction. We just don't know until we find out when they go racing.
It honestly doesn't look too horrible right now, does it? It's like showers.
That's
showers again.
I like the positive angle of that, Peter. Positive.
Yeah, it's going to be good for spectators, but it's going to be interesting for drivers as well. There's nowhere here where it says like massive rain. It's just showers. Yeah.
To be honest, I think the drivers would rather have just either entirely rain or entirely sunshine, and it's the mixed conditions that they will be disliking, especially the teams towards the front of the championship, as they won't be wanting anything that could prove to be a chink in the armor. We're also getting a rather interesting insight into Peter Muncombe's ad suggestions. Peter, have you been looking at necklaces recently on Google?
No, not by any chance. No.
we could call him Mr. Chanty.
I've also got an ad here from some good friends, so I can make a small commercial for that one. It's the world's most traveled hot dog stand.
Yep.
The world's most traveled hot dog stand. Oh, I'm sorry, this is going on a tangent, but what?
But that is a sister company to Burst Esport.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. Something about hot dogs traveling around the world, and it's related to Burst.
If you want to know what is going on the Nordschleife or Nürburgring, like regularly, do follow Misha. He's the owner of one of the car renting companies for the tourist part. He regularly has updates about what's going on the track and how they're changing tarmac in different places. For instance, the tarmac right now is being changed it's the first corner before the old start-finish straight. So you go through the chicane at the end of the Döttinger Höhe, and then you go through the right corner if you continue on to the Nordschleife instead of going out on the GP circuit. That corner is being changed at the moment. And inside that corner, there's actually some of the old tarmac where that is the original tarmac from the original track that hasn't been paved over.
I think the teams are happy we do not have live tarmac, like live weather.
Oh.
How would that even work?
No.
then again, the R2 track is the most live laser scanned version of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. That is the most recent one. I think it's 2018 data, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, 2018. Not too bad. I do want to move on and start talking about some of the teams that have entered, because a lot of our viewers would recognize these teams from teams that have raced with us during the EEWC. We've got the likes of Deuces, DIS, ProSim, Satellite, Unison, and the list does go on.
Yeah, quite an extensive list by the looks of things. Or what is it? Probably the best part of nearly 20 cars on the grid for this weekend. Good to see some regular faces. Obviously, we've got Glam Racing. Juices, we've got No Full Lock, and then also Mugensen.
Actually, no.
Oh,
no,
unfortunately not.
I think
haven't heard anything.
They don't have a car; they're just running around the Nordschleife for 24 hours.
Yeah,
are they going to get on pedal bikes and go around them? Maybe use
they signed up for the race. They never submitted anything. So we don't know the situation of the team right now, which is a little bit unfortunate. So it would be good to have them with us, but I don't know. Haven't received any skins from the cars or any car they picked. So yeah, that's the situation.
Ibrahim Khan as well. Interesting.
Ernest Lappens and Ibrahim Khan. Yeah.
Ah. Well, I do know I was messaging Ibrahim not too long ago, and he was saying he was unsure about whether they could enter. So clearly, that doubt does still remain for them.
What car was it? Also, John, you called me and told me that one of the other cars wasn't starting.
Yeah, that's
broken
actually
leg or
the
broken
three guys from no, it's actually not a broken arm. It was his leg was injured. It was me saying it
okay.
wrong. It's Mugging Sim Racing car number 3 is being withdrawn from the race. Sultan Baba is actually unable to attend the CES, and
But
Gaba.
he's on car 2.
Yeah, I know. Gaba Hutsiti from Morgan Sim Racing 16 is unable to attend because his leg was injured. So there's actually a change in the lineup. It's a combination of car number 3 combined to car number 2 and car number 16. But I have all the names written down, so I have the correct lineup. So there might be some minor changes to the spotter guide in terms of me having to edit some of the things, but it's brand new, coming on an email last, I think it was yesterday, sorry, yeah, something like that. Yeah, but that's basically it. The rest should pretty much be there, I guess. I haven't heard anything rather than positive news, so yeah.
Is Liam Rance running both the satellite racing cars?
I think he is, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
He's gonna be a jumper, man.
And they've got Jimmy Nisula and Henry Sinek on the 65 car.
Yeah, Henry Sinek was actually a former Drillers eSport driver. He joined Satellite, which is a bit fortunate that Drillers got no more. So
Disbanded.
Yeah.
Well, good to see though that Henry Sinek is still racing, will be joining us nonetheless. Pro Sim 1 Move Esports. 1 Move Esports have been doing fairly decently in the EEWC, and good to see Team Rookie Monsters back into things because we haven't been able to see them in the EEWC.
Where did I skip Rookie Monsters, or let me find them? There we go.
One of the interesting things is well, apart from Team Rookie Monsters is starting to do a bit of a BMW art car special on the Callaway Corvette, is the fact of the machinery that the teams are actually using. Say, for instance, Juice's Motorsport going with the trusted BMW M6. They normally run with the Porsche, with the Porsches when we're in EWC for GTE. And then One Move Esports, normally in Ferrari, they've switched to Audi. Those are two manufacturers. BMW, the most successful manufacturer in the history of the 24 hours of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Audi have also won quite a few of those races as well. But interesting to see, like Pro Sim are in the Bentley, Team Shiba by Musto, they're in the McLaren. Quite a few Callaway Corvettes on the field as well.
I think one of the most interesting one is actually the entry of Burst Esport. They chosen the Audi R8 2018 version, not the 2019 version.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very interesting, because we actually have quite a few entries in the Audi R8 GT3 2019 version.
Also, two very quick drivers for Burst Esports in the form of Jerne Simonchik and Kasper Henningsen, who I believe the latter raced with us in the ACC Sprint Series.
Yeah.
Who's the last guy in the Burst? Joao
Pilates.
Joao Piates, I think.
Piates.
Yeah, but yeah, Simonchik.
New guy for me.
Wait, what?
New guy for me. I haven't seen him race before.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what you can pull out then in what looks to be his debut race in the GTR24H circus.
And,
especially at the biggest circus of all.
Yes, quite literally.
Cutting in before was John. Where's the rest of the Musto guys?
This time around, Tiziano and the guys couldn't be part of this race for some peculiar reasons. So the team called Team Shiba is the Musto guys, which is now Giuseppe Pastore, Nicola Pastoro, and Henrik Zimmermann. So these are the guys for Musto this time around. It's not the same team. I'm not familiar with these guys in terms of performance and how fast they are. So in favor of how well Musto did last time, it's going to be interesting to see if these guys can keep a good pace.
I don't see Linus in the Pro Sim lineup either.
No, he left the team. It's now being exchanged with Sebastian Shaw. And Sebastian Shaw is actually a former Drillers drivers as well from the older days. So he supposedly should be quite fast. And also some very interesting stuff situated around the Pro Sim team is actually they are the only one driving the Bentley.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that will perform.
Yeah. So far, looking at some of the lap times is actually looking quite promising.
Mm-hmm. Oh, their cars are fairly well balanced now, so
yeah.
I wouldn't expect any one of them to kind of draw an advantage from driving a specific car. It's just the differences in tactics or strategy that you need to use to drive the different cars.
Yeah.
I think also one of the other things about the Bentley is obviously its fuel range. You know, that could be quite helpful in terms of pit stop and full service strategies. You know, especially when you're doing full service on the car. So that's driver change, completely fuel the car to the brim, and then put on a brand new set of tires and send somebody out for a double or a triple stint.
John, you mentioned also that there's a new skin for the dysfunctional racing team. That this skin.
Yeah, unfortunately, me and Carl had a bit of an issue that we found out that the livery he has sent for me was wrong. It has a wrong sponsor on it. So, but that's actually literally been updated today. So it's on the server. It's actually in the workshop already. It was done this afternoon. So yeah, things should be quite right. So of course, if the spotter guy has a wrong picture of the wrong car, it's not that big of a difference. But it's of course if this it will get fixed. It's just one picture.
I also have an apology to bring to you, Yusuf, because the reason why the dysfunctional racing team video isn't out is because the livery is featuring in the video, of course. Because I now had the option to grab the livery because we got the skins, but now I just heard today from John that it was the wrong livery, so it isn't coming out today. And I've been I promised last Monday that I would have the video up by late Tuesday evening, and it just didn't happen. I had too much work, everything.
Well, Peter, you know what they say, good things come to those who wait. So if we wait longer, that is going to be an even better video that we can all look forward to.
The video is actually done and rendered, and it is on YouTube. There's a hidden version on YouTube right now, which has to be taken down again, and a new one has to be rendered with the proper right livery in it. So yeah,
I think I actually know the winner of this race beforehand. That must be Team Rookie Monsters. They have like 5 drivers with the stick.
But it's a good guys. Where's your money at for the winners?
See, unpopular opinion, the Stig wasn't actually that fast. So
certainly Rubens Barrichello was faster.
All I'm saying is if he was really that quick, he wouldn't have been hired by Top Gear. But who did it used to be? Wasn't it Ben
McCarthy?
Collins?
Perry McCarthy and Ben Collins. One time, the Stig got to be revealed to be Michael Schumacher, which we knew was just a PR stunt.
That was complete bogus.
Yeah. I still remember, what was it? They had it's the Stig's American cousin. I like this big, came out out of a trailer and literally could not even fit the race suit. That's how bad it was. To be honest with you, I'm gonna not throw out like John did, saying about which particular team. I think possibly a BMW or Audi could actually win this race
at their home circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think a BMW or Audi is going to take this? I want to delve into the mind of Alex Goldschmidt here.
Well, considering looking at previous track records of the manufacturers, I mean, okay, yes, we're not in that league of where, you know, Team Schnitzer for BMW before, you know, obviously the passing of Charlie Lamb a couple of years ago. You know, BMW have always been strong around this circuit. They've always been strong. They've always been in contention. Audi have got a good track record, so I would not discount the German manufacturers at all. But what it's going to come down to is staying out of trouble, consistency, patience.
Yes.
Those are the three things that these teams are going to have to be on point with all the way through the 24 hours. And I think the term eyeballs on stalks is very much apparent here for this weekend's event, even though it's a one-off. It's not part of the EEWC.
And it will be interesting to see how the teams do perform this weekend for the Nürburgring at 24 hours, the Nordschleife. But I want to move on with the podcast because, John, we've got some information coming through regarding the web shop.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
We haven't really talked about the GTR24H web shop before. We haven't really talked about any of the products available in there. Right now, it's GTR24H merchandise and EVC merchandise, of course. You know, like it has to be. There's some very brilliant cabs in there, and don't let the graphics that have kind of taken out part of the letters fool you. The letters are there, as you can clearly see on my cap. It's all quality products. They're produced by a company called Pinterest. So most people, or not Pinterest, sorry, Printful, sorry. Most people will know Printful for being this company where you can order your merchandise stuff. So we're making just a small amount of money for everything that's put up there. But we have other plans to put stuff in the workshop, don't we, John?
Yeah, we have been corresponding with the PC manufacturer system integrator, where we are going to start building up system. That's actually a nice cap, Yusuf. Very serious. Yeah,
I mean, Peter had it, so I needed to join in the club.
One of the cool things about that system integrator is going to be a partner where we will work with the guys of having like approved sim racing PCs, which means that you could buy literally one PC which would be good for a single monitor gaming, and it will have all the requirements for that. And if you want to run multi monitor solutions, and it will be run with different like games in racing and with different eye candy settings and stuff like that, and then it will be sold off by giving those performance numbers out, and you can literally know what you're buying from the very beginning. So this is something we're going to do, and it's going to be heavily tested in the different like games over 24 hours of burn-in testing. That means that you are sure when you actually get the PC, you can actually run 24 hours of Nürburgring with it without it crashing. So
without any lags, without any
something like
due to heating of network adapters or stuff like
everything
that.
like that.
Yeah,
that's something we are looking into right now. We see it's not because GTR is going to make a ton of money by doing that, but I do feel that the market really needs it, and it's something that also so many people who are new to sim racing might not have that in-depth knowledge of building their own PC and knowing what to do and buy the right equipment and stuff like that. So it makes sense. Another thing which we also bring in now is actually a clothing manufacturer, which is going to be able to produce different clothing situated around the team, so you can actually buy stuff from the teams, like liveries or printed out on the t-shirts or shirts or whatever it might be. You can also design yourself your own stuff as well within the web shop. So this is also something we're going to bring into the web shop. And
do we have a link for the web shop that we can drop in the YouTube and the Facebook chat for our viewers?
Peter can do that.
GTR24H.org/webshop. I can get a link, but it might be too simple. You know, so, I'll do it anyway, just to make you happy, Yusuf.
Thank you. It always helps.
moving on, I don't know if we should move on the agenda or.
I think we're good to move on unless there's anything else we want to talk about regarding the web shop.
No, not really.
No,
Okay.
just that selling the product really supports GTR24H and all of our efforts. So yeah.
And it looks cool as well. So have a look, have a gander, see if any of you viewers like what you see. Then you can always pick something up. So the final topic on the agenda is the prizes and some of the sponsors regarding the Nürburgring 24 Hours, John.
Yeah. Last, really in the final end of things, we managed to make a deal with Patriot Memory now, which is now going to be a part of the show as well. So literally right now, you have a chance as a team to be part of winning a prize pool of 1,500 euros, of course, 1,000 euros for first place, 350 for second, and 150 euros for third place. And Azatec is as well going to join up with water cooling, which is also a pretty cool thing. That's going to be giving out water cooling for the fastest team in qualifying. That's going to be giving for faster lap time for that matter. The same goes for the race. And of course, the winners of the different different positions, like position 1 and 2 and 3, is going to get water cooling from Aztec. And for Patriot, they're going to push it a little bit further by giving out some SSD2 M2 drives. So some great new hard drives, pretty fast hard drives for that, as a part of the winning prizes for the teams. And we also thinking about doing some prizes for the viewers as well, where they have a chance to win some products as well. It's not finalized yet. We have a few meetings tomorrow, and hopefully that will also be something that we could give out for the viewers. Yeah.
And make sure to stay tuned to see what those will be. Sorry, do continue, John.
Yeah, we still actually have one thing on the agenda we did not talk about, which is actually one of the things which is very important for this upcoming race, is the racing in memory of Sabine Smits.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that DTR is gonna do, is some kind of tribute to Sabine on the entire life of her and the tragic death of her as only 51 years of age. It's terrible to actually think about that. So I hope especially all the teams would honor that mostly as much as possible. Think about the family, and we will also have 1 minute of silence during the race start as well. So we managed to remember her for what she did and what kind of person she actually was. And by going back to that, we also have the petition of naming a corner after Sabine Smith, and it looks like because it seems that the agreement was that as long as there was 50,000 signups now, it will be a corner who will be named after Sabine Smith. So right now, I think that's going to go through. So next big question will be, when will it be and where and which corner?
It would be really, really good to at least have one corner on a track named after a female race driver. I think that's
yeah.
Well,
very,
and yeah, but
very,
not just
very
any,
appropriate and very deserved.
but also not just any female driver, the only woman to have ever won the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and she did it twice.
Yes.
She did it twice.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I've followed her career for quite a long time, forgetting about her appearances with Clarkson and Hammond and May and all that lot on Top Gear, where she really found a completely different audience. Sabine came from very humble beginnings. The Piston Klauser restaurant is where her family is. And still to this day,
racing thing.
Fricadilly Racing, still running the Porsches. They are racing in her honor. For as long as that team goes on racing, they will be racing for Sabine, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first things that came out in German motorsport media after Sabine's passing. You know, I've been to the Nordschleife myself in person. I've not driven on the Touristfahrten. I probably wouldn't even dare to do it because I know for a fact that my car would definitely not have any rubber on the front tyres coming off the 20.8 kilometre circuit, having thrashed the car around it. But just the character of Sabine, you know, very, very upfront. You know, she called a spade a spade. She didn't mince her words. And I still remember when, what was it? They were doing the banger cars, and she's gone on the radio to Paddy McGuinness saying, "I'm coming for you, Paddy." Like that. That was Sabine. Like literally smiles for miles with that lady. You know, and I think for us to race in her honor at the track that she during her lifetime probably did over 30,000 laps rather easily, and even managed to beat Jeremy Clarkson in an S-Type Jaguar by over 40 seconds, and nearly got a stripped-out Ford Transit. And I still remember when she said, "No, we need to take excess weight off of this van." So they took
Hammond out.
Yeah, they took Hammond out. They took the left-hand side of the front bench seat out. They took the wiper blades, the wiper arms, every bit of weight that they could find taken off, and it was taped up to hell. And she got close to being under 10 minutes in that Transit. That just showed the character, and also, I think I can say it, the ballsiness of that lady. And that's what she's remembered for. She's remembered for being a true free spirit, and spoke her mind, raced her heart out. You know, and to lose her at the age of 51 after a secondary bout against cancer. I think we're doing the right thing by honouring her memory this weekend.
Definitely.
Yeah, precisely so.
Yeah.
I think,
and the nice thing about motorsports being a place where gender really doesn't matter. Like if you're into it and you have the interest, it doesn't matter which gender you are. There's always the opportunity to fight for getting that drive at any age, I might add. So yeah, if you're dreaming about being a race car driver, maybe sim racing isn't as bad a place to start then, and then maybe work from there. Do a Jimmy Broadbent if
yeah.
Well, I was speaking during my interview with Carl Lewis, which some of our viewers will be able to see at a later date. I mean, he was mentioning that afterwards that he's getting in for some, IRL motorsports, looking to get some more track days in, and he started off through sim racing, as is, I'm sure, a whole collection of drivers as well, and it really is a good way to get in. And they were just talking about how it does, it's never going to be exactly the same as the real thing, but it can get so close to it.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, until what's happened across the globe with the pandemic, to me, sim racing was always on my radar as a commentator. I've never competed real life apart from doing some indoor stuff, and that was for more sort of a bit of fun, a bit of jokes and banter with my friends. But to understand now, after what has been over a year since I started commentating on esports, there is so much correlation between the two. It's so unreal. And I think, there's a championship out there for anybody, whether it's in real life or whether it's esports, it doesn't matter. And coming back to age, actually, Peter, I still remember when Hans-Joachim Stuck, who took part in the first ever Nürburgring Nordschleife, 24 hours, he had a poster of the first ever race that was held, and someone came up to him in the paddock and he said, "Oh, what do you know about that race?" He said, "Yeah, I raced in that one." And he's like in his get-up. and it shows that age is nothing but a number. It doesn't matter whether it's sim racing in real life. That's why motorsport is celebrated irrespective of age, religion, gender, preference when it comes to sexuality. It doesn't matter. We're here for the same thing. We all love the same thing. And it just goes to show a testament of how, motorsport in some respects still needs to change, but it is getting there. It's just going to take time.
I'm not sure if a change like that should be forced. I think the thing is about bettering the conditions for female karting drivers to get into racing and kind of not making it easier, because I think in a lot of ways these really good or like some of them are really 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 talented girls in karting, there's some kind of weird reason why they stop doing karting when they get to about 15 or something like that. There's a weird thing happening there in karting, and it's not just a, you know, like a British problem or Danish problem. It's like it's all over the world. When girls get to that age, they somehow just lose interest and something else becomes interesting. You know, I don't know how you continue to make motorsport interesting to those girls. I don't know what it is.
Well, hopefully in the future we get more role models like Sabine Schmidt, and you know, another one that comes straight to my mind is the likes of Michelle Mouton. You know, ex-rally driver, used to be so quick, and they can continue to give inspirations to young aspiring female drivers across the world. But I think on that note, I think that's probably a good place to bring this podcast to a close, unless either of you three have any topics you would like to bring up.
Yeah,
the only thing
why don't we have any girls in our sim racing series? Why aren't there any?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. A very good point there. But I think the only point I'm going to make is don't forget to tune in this weekend for free practice on Thursday night qualifying, and then we go once around the clock at the Nordschleife. That's all I'm going to say on that to end it.
And by the way, guys, I don't think there's going to be a weekly podcast on Monday, because that's straight after the race. So I think it'll be a fortnight before we see each other on this. It won't be a weekly talk show on Monday. So now it's suddenly a bi-weekly talk show and then a weekly again. I don't know how to explain this, but
we're taking a week off. We're taking a week off because we're taking a weekend on. But as Alex said, make sure everyone to tune in this weekend for the Nürburgring Nordschleife 24 hours. It's going to be a thriller for sure. If you haven't already, make sure to follow GTR24H on all the relevant socials, whether that's on Facebook or Twitter or whatever else, just so that you can stay up to date with everything GTR24H related. But John, Alex, Peter, thank you so much for joining me. And we'll see you guys for the Nordschleife in just a few days' time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.